This is different from other gatherings. Other gatherings, there are many who come to hear the Kryon work, to hear the channelings, the voices from beyond. Not this gathering. This is a gathering with purpose, and the Kryon channeling is an addendum, a guidance for what is here. I want you to understand an underlying principle of energy that is in this room now. And it's one that sometimes you miss. You miss it because you are consumed with the tones, with the purpose, with the intent, but you miss the real thing, and that is, what's this about? If someone were to hear you in here, and would ask you when you leave, well, what are you doing? What's this about? What would you say? What really would you say? The C could stand for celebration. It could stand for creation. It could stand for crystalline choir. And that is what we want to tell you about in this short amount of time. You might say it's a review, but it isn't. What's going to be revealed today, some of you have been asking for. This one is special. If you were with me in the crystalline quartz mines, a little way from here, you will have heard this information before. Many of you did not. Everything here was a setup, and it was set up when humanity was seated. Over 200,000 years ago, when all of this began, that's not long at all. When the creation story itself was present, you had the seeding of the human being. DNA was changed forever. You are part Pleiadian. There are those who walk this planet and accuse you of being aliens. You are. And so are they. The science that was presented in this very room indicates that the missing link that would give you 24 pairs of chromosomes is not there. It's just not there. It won't be there unless you go to the stars. You are part of the parents that are Pleiadian. And when you came, there was a plan. You might even call it the meaning of life. The plan was to come on this planet with an awakened consciousness, with God inside, and with free choice, see what would happen. There's a reason for this. An underlying reason why you would be here. Why can't God make these decisions? Why do humans have to come and work a puzzle at all? And the reason is God is biased in love. There's something that happens when a planet of free choice makes a decision and raises its vibration. The whole galaxy is changed. One at a time, one planet among trillions, one planet at a time. Chosen for this, the only planet of free choice at this moment is this one. And the prophecy was clear that when you cross this meridian, if you want to call it, which is the precession of the equinoxes, it all starts. This is why the nodes and the nulls were put here. This is why the time capsules were prepared 200,000 years, even before that. They would open on time if the humans knew about them and would do it. Dear ones, do you understand what's going on here? As esoteric as this may seem to those on the outside, you are activating something that is profound right now. On this this crystalline node, you are then activating it to broadcast to the crystalline grid, which is more than you think. On the 7th time, I'm going to tell you why it's more than you think. Once this is activated with the tones that you are doing now, it begins slowly to spread a remembrance, which oddly enough is the next letter. R. This is important. People have said, well, it's maybe a little too profound. What would have happened if there had been no Ya'i? What would have happened if there had been no crystalline choir, or perhaps even the choir of activation in Maui? What would have happened? And the answer is someone else would have done it. What would have happened if my partner had not taken on Kryon? Someone else would have done it. This is intrinsic to the time. It's important that you understand this. You're in the right time in the right place. But it had to happen. And it would have. But in this particular case, it happened perfectly, and there was a Ya'i. And he remembered. I want to ask you, what are the odds that a man of science would also remember that from his Pleiadian mother at this time on the planet? What are the odds? It ought to tell you, right time, right schedule. See, the crystalline choir begins now. Building a bridge of enlightenment through seed sounds of creation. The letter R. Through the seed sounds of creation. How do you build a bridge? With a tone. And how do you know what the tone is? Through remembering what it was like at the creation. This is an R. This is remembering. This is the bottom line of why you're here. And you might ask yourself, remembering what? Really? What does the tone represent? What is it exactly that you are bringing from that long ago through the toning that is pineal, the pineal representing that reservoir of higher self-energy? What is it you're remembering? What was it like? What are the attributes? And how does it apply to today? These are the questions that are the basis and the actual elements to the crystalline grid, to this exercise today. What is it you're spreading into this node right now? What is it you're activating that would create information which is going to go all over the planet to an esoteric grid, not a physical grid? This is a physical node, but the crystalline grid echoes this physical node. Whatever you do here, it activates and starts to rewrite history. Whales, dear humanity, dear ones in this room, Doctor, whales are the living crystalline grid. They are the ones that carry the crystalline grid into the oceans. They're the library of consciousness for this planet. You have known this. You had to know this. You have cherished them. You have laughed when they jump out of the water. You've looked them in the eye. You felt their wisdom. Every country in the world, if they have any kind of sense, they would have an agreement not to kill this animal, and many of them do. This is revered. The humanity of the earth is starting to recognize the value of this animal. It is a multi-dimensional thing that they have. They carry what the planet cannot in the crystalline grid, the living crystalline grid. And you seek them out, Doctor, and you make their noises, and you want to sing to them. You want to even hang upside down in the water to emulate what they do. And this is why. Therefore, I will tell you that the null associated with a node that is crystalline is Mount Fitzroy in Patagonia. Doesn't it make sense? That's where the whales are. That's where the crystalline grid is for the living part of it, not the esoteric part of it. Now you know why the doctor makes whale sounds. First, and that's what he enjoys the most. You have an affinity with this animal, don't you? Now you know why. The next time you see one, I want you to understand that they're more than you think. Much more. They've been saved from extinction, and they will continue to reproduce. But the place that they go to mate and have their children is important, because the children then receive the crystalline information. The very activation that you're making today goes right to them through Mount Fitzroy. And so it is.
And so it is.